You may be surprised to hear that 64% of Americans can't cover a $500 emergency expense without borrowing money or selling something. If you fall into this category, you are not alone. But this number got me thinking. How many people watch our videos? Are they the lucky ones who don't fall into these stats? I'm guessing there are quite a few of you who watch our videos because you're looking for answers. And if that's you, I have 5 saving and budgeting tips most Americans don't know that you should be aware of. Number 1. 64% of Americans can't cover a $500 emergency. Here's why. So according to the survey, what types of emergencies were the people facing? As you can see, car repairs, medical bills, and home appliances all took up a significant portion. The key to overcoming this issue is to build an emergency fund. An emergency fund is a safety buffer between you and disaster. It is the difference between being able to sleep at night, knowing you can handle whatever comes your way, and constantly worrying about where you get the money for an unexpected expense. When you're planning your budget, you should first consider setting aside some of your money each month to put into your emergency fund. Think of it as a savings account for unexpected situations. While you can keep this money in a separate savings account, remember that the longer your money is invested, the more time it has to grow. This means that having your money in a savings account with a high interest rate will allow you to earn more interest over time. Currently, Ally Bank is offering 2.20% interest rates on their online savings accounts. What this means is that if you have $10,000 in your account, you could potentially earn $220 in interest every year. On top of that, Ally also offers a high-yield checking account and CDs with even higher interest rates than their savings accounts. Once you have an emergency fund, experts recommend having 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved up. A good rule of thumb for calculating this amount is to take your monthly expenses and multiply them by the number of months you want to be prepared for. Budgeting isn't just about cutting back, it's about prioritizing. People often think that creating a budget means giving up the things you love and living like a hermit. But that's simply not true. In fact, the purpose of a budget is to help you prioritize and focus on what's important to you. When you create a budget, you're essentially deciding how you want to spend your time and money. You reprioritizing the things that matter most to you and making sure that you're reallocating enough time and resources towards them. This means that you need to be honest with yourself about your values and goals. Ask yourself what you want to achieve in the short and long term, and what you're willing to sacrifice in order to reach those goals. By doing so, you'll be able to create a budget that works for you and helps you achieve your dreams. Here's what I mean when I say that budgeting isn't about deprivation. Let's look at how much the average US household spends per month. Housing takes up the largest portion of spending, followed by transportation, healthcare, food, and other expenses. Now let's imagine that you're someone who values experiences and personal growth over material possessions. You might decide to allocate more of your budget towards travel, education, and entertainment, while cutting back on things like clothing and dining out. Or maybe you're passionate about fitness and health, and you want to prioritize that in your life. You might choose to spend more on gym memberships and healthy food, while cutting back on things like alcohol and junk food. The idea is that you should be intentional with your spending and make sure that it aligns with your values and goals. By doing so, you will be able to create a budget that works for you and helps you live the life you want. No, 3, 50, 30, 20 rule. Okay, now let's talk about a popular budgeting guideline known as the 50, 30, 20 rule. This rule is a great way to allocate your money towards your needs, wants, and savings. But before we dive into that, let's talk about how much the average US household makes. Number 4. Automate your savings. We all know that saving money is important, but sometimes it can be difficult to actually do. One way to make saving easier is by automating the process. By setting up automatic transfers from your checking account to your savings account, you can ensure that you put in money aside for the future without having to think about it too much. This can be a game changer for many people, because it eliminates the temptation to spend money that is intended for savings on things like impulse purchases or unnecessary expenses. In fact, studies show that people who automate their savings are more likely to reach their financial goals and have a brighter financial future. On top of that, recent studies suggest that automating your savings can increase consistency by 70%. That's a huge improvement that can have a significant impact on your financial well-being. Number 5. Lifestyle inflation. We all know that it's important to save money, But sometimes it can be difficult to stick to a budget, especially when our lifestyle is constantly evolving. When we earn more money, we may be tempted to upgrade our living situation, buy new clothes, or take more vacations. But if we're not careful, these upgrades can quickly add up and become a major obstacle to achieving our financial goals. That's why it is important to be aware of something called lifestyle inflation and how to avoid it. Lifestyle inflation is the tendency to spend more money as we earn more money. It can happen gradually over time or suddenly when we receive a windfall of cash. But no matter how it happens, it can be a major roadblock to financial success. To avoid lifestyle inflation, it is important to be mindful of our spending habits and make a conscious effort to maintain our standard of living. We can do this by setting a budget, tracking our expenses, and resisting the urge to upgrade our lifestyle when we receive a raise or bonus. Instead, we can use that extra money to invest in our future or pay off debt. By doing so, we can ensure that our lifestyle doesn't get in the way of our financial goals. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos.